Welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet. I'm Kathryn.
And I'm Sarah.
The Olympics are going to be in London this summer, July and August, for the third time. And I'm so sad to say that I don't have any tickets for them.
Me either, Kathryn. But I was in Atlanta in 1996 for the Olympics here, and I didn't have any tickets for the events either, but I had the time of my life.
Yeah.
So you can still have a blast and not have any tickets for events. So that's the good news.
And that's good to know because they're pretty expensive and hard to come by. So this podcast is going to be about going to London during the Olympics, what you can see for free, and what events you can do even if you don't have any tickets.
Absolutely. So we're going to first start with visiting the Olympic Park. One of the best ways to do it is they actually have a free bus tour. And it's one of the only ways that you can visit inside the park. And this tour goes inside Olympic Park, and it passes the aquatic center. It takes you past the velodrome, which, by the way, they call the Pringle, because it actually resembles the shape of the potato chip that we all love.
I sure love it.
And they give you a lot of great factoids and information about how many people it took to build the Olympic Village. And one of the great tips that I learned was they said that about 90% of the materials that they used to build Olympic Park was recycled. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that really is. They also have this walking tour that's offered where a guide will not only take you around the Olympic Park on the outside, but they'll combine it with a tour of East London, because the area where the Olympics are going to be held is not an area that most tourists would go.
Yeah, it was pretty contaminated, right?
Yeah, it was very contaminated, and they've reclaimed all of that. And in fact, after the Olympics, they're going to have affordable housing there, and of course sports facilities. So that's part of the stuff that you learn when you take that tour.
That's great. On to a lot of more cultural exhibitions. The British Museum is hosting 2 exhibitions. One is on the ancient Olympic Games, and they have a lot of sculptures of the Greek gods, and it actually has a scale model of how the ancient games were conducted. And one of the highlights of the exhibition is a sculpture called the Discobolus, and it's a famous sculpture that was actually the symbol of the 1948 Olympic Games in London.
Wow.
And the second exhibition is called From Mine to Medals, and it actually shows how they created and designed the medals for this Olympic Games. So that's really cool. If you're ever interested in how they do that, this exhibition would be for you.
And they're both free.
Both free, so you can't beat that.
Can't beat that at all. And of course there are many cultural highlights going on at the same time. There's a festival called River of Music, which is going to be held the weekend just before the Olympics start. And what that is, it's going to be a whole bunch of free music performances representing all 205 participating nations. And they're going to be held at landmarks all along the River Thames. And of course all kinds of music, classical, jazz, world music.
Yeah, I love this.
It just sounds amazing, and it's all free, of course.
Yeah.
So that'll be something to really check out.
Really love this. Also, kind of along that same line, there's a World Shakespeare Festival, and they actually sold, or not sold, but there were 1 million tickets for this event.
Available?
Available,
Wow.
yes. And it runs from April to November, and it's running through the entire UK, so it's not just in London. And there's 70 different productions of Shakespeare's plays, and they're being performed by companies from all over the world, similar to the music festival.
Yeah.
And one that I thought was really unique is called Romeo and Juliet in Baghdad, being performed by the Iraqi theater company. And it sort of is exploring Romeo and Juliet based on an Iraqi view, and it's showcases the traditional Iraqi poetry, music, and the rituals across the sectarian divide of Iraq.
There's also a Julius Caesar production that's set in sub-Saharan Africa. So they're really trying to show that Shakespeare belongs to the world. It's not just a British thing.
Not anymore.
Not anymore at all, and that's really going to be amazing. And of course, the question comes up of, is there any events I can see for free?
And of course there are.
Of course. So there are a couple of Olympic events that you can see for free. One, of course, is the marathon, and the other are the cycle road races. Those, of course, are being held throughout the streets of London, so you can see them there. And they're also going to have some big screens set up at Hyde Park, Victoria Park, and Trafalgar Square, where you can actually watch the Olympic Games.
That would be so fun. Can you imagine the party there?
Exactly, just with all your friends,
Yes.
and of course they're going to have some entertainment as well along with.
That would be awesome.
It would really be awesome, so you can still get that flavor of the games. without necessarily being inside.
Yes. And also, there are still some ticket packages available. They'll probably be really pricey too, but we're talking about the Olympics. This isn't your average sporting event. If you're interested in going, you know what you're getting into.
Exactly. And you wouldn't want to miss that for sure.
We'll have some links to these websites on our blog when we get that up.
For sure. And that wraps up our visit to the Olympics. If you happen to go, please let us know about it, because we sure want to know.
Absolutely. Team USA.
Go. And also Usain Bolt, shout out for Jamaica.
Yep.
Hopefully you get a gold. And we'll see you next time on the coolest stuff on the planet.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit HowStuffWorks.com. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts, free on iTunes.